Hello, underachievers. So, men. Hello, men. I am one of them, but I used to be a boy, and before that, a girl. It's kind of confusing. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about bad women's anatomy, which is where men, and maybe some women even, just do not understand at all what's going on with the female anatomy. But before we get into the video, I just wanted to say, I am going on tour in America. It's going to be so much fun. I'm touring with Bears and Trees, and we may have a few surprises for you there. I also have new music out. I've got a song called LALALA out. I've got a Patreon. I've got merch that's on sale right now and it won't be restocked. So check out all of that stuff if you want. It's all in the description below. If not, let's just get on to the video. So, the first example of bad women's anatomy is this picture of an online order where somebody has requested tampons. And you know, the shop didn't have any tampons. They ran out of tampons. Apparently everybody's bleeding at this time of the month. But they didn't have tampons. So, what did they replace it with? Mushrooms. I don't know if a person decided to set that as the substitution for tampons. I feel like mushrooms would be quite absorbent, although I feel like if you're trying to put them up, in the process of putting them up, they're not very strong, are they? I also don't know if that's healthy. I know there's like a delicate pH balance in there. What is the pH of mushrooms? What is the pH of mushrooms? A level of around 6 to 6.7. What is the pH of a vagina? The natural pH is equal to 7, so maybe no mushrooms. Bad women's anatomy. So, the next one is, my secret to making condoms more comfortable is telling men how badly I want a baby. Which, that is incredible. Because I know that there's a bunch of men that are just like, oh, I can't wear condoms, you know? Like, too big, they're so uncomfy. Which, I'm sure maybe they are uncomfortable. I feel like it's more uncomfortable to have an unwanted child, both for you and the person that you're impregnating. Swear word! He knows I've had a hysterectomy, what do I do now? And they responded, tell him it grew back. Sounds like a thing a lot of men might believe. And you're thinking, no. That's silly. No men would ever believe that an organ that's been removed can grow back. When my aunt got a hysterectomy, my uncle famously asked if they could tie her tubes at the same time. And that is not, there are no tubes to tie. If there's a full hysterectomy, there's no tubes. Yeah, that's a weird one. So there may be a running theme in this video of like old philosophers or scientists getting female anatomy wrong. Aristotle maintained that women have fewer teeth than men. Although he was twice married, it never occurred to him to verify this statement by examining the mouths of the two wives. Yeah, that's really weird. That's a weird opinion to hold when you could just look inside a woman's mouth. And if you're married, I feel like you have access to a woman's mouth. This post is right. Why would he not check? Also, like, where did that come from? Maybe there's an answer online that I just haven't looked up, but like, why would women have less teeth than men? Because they have smaller heads usually? Because like, I was born a female and I have a small head, but I still have the normal amount of teeth. And yeah, to be fair, I could do with having less teeth. When I went to the orthodontist when I was 14, because yeah, I did get braces, but then, you know, my teeth got wonky again. They were like, you have too many teeth. Your mouth is too crowded. We'll take 2 of them out. And then they didn't. And then they put braces on me. And then, of course, the teeth moved back because there's not enough space in my mouth because I'm a female, I'm a little girl, and apparently, yeah. I don't know. So, this one was unexpected. Bad women's anatomy from a gynecologist. That's a specialty. Surely, the gyno area. There's a gynecologist in my area who insists on tracking menstrual cycles of the nurses who work with him. Why? Well, because he doesn't want them to make him coffee or tea when on their period because they are unpure. Maybe not so much. Maybe that's a bit weird. Unpure? Why are you a gynecologist if you have that view on women's anatomy? Like, men be shitting and farting all day, and I would say that's more unpure because, you know, when you're on your period, you either, like, plug it up or you have, you know, you got the pads to soak it up. It's not going anywhere. Like, this guy, I'm sure he poos every day. I'm sure he farts every day. That is spreading more impurity into the air than somebody having a period, I would say. But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not the gynecologist. Somebody said, a man said, I want to make this clear since nobody wants to talk about this. Sexual facts. Nobody wants to talk about sexual facts. Sex, notoriously something that's gone unspoken. Nobody ever speaks about sex. Never on anyone's mind. The vagina always has a bad smell. No matter how much you bathe or who you are. This is a fact that nobody can deny. Sorry girls, there is no it's my natural smell. So this is confusing because, you know, he said the vagina always has a bad smell, which to me would be like, oh, so naturally it has a smell, which, you know, everything has a smell. It's not naturally bad. Maybe he just doesn't like it. I just don't understand him insisting that it's not their natural smell. If the state of an organ to you is always bad smelling, there's no people that don't have bad, smelly, stinky, you know, how is that not natural? Does he think it's unnatural? And that's just confusing. Anyway, number 2, sexual fact number 2. Women who have given birth to a baby, her vagina is now useless. Fact. Completely useless. She can't have a period, you know, she can't have sex, can't give birth again, you know, it's one and done. That's it. You've never seen anybody with more than one child, right? The muscles lost all strength and can no longer give sexual satisfaction. Give. Is the purpose of an organ to give? Should he not say give and receive? I don't know. Obviously, this isn't the type of guy that thinks that satisfying his partner is important because, you know, he would not be like this. I know that single women with children will not accept this, but it is the truth. I would love to see this guy's sources because you know he doesn't have any. He just thinks that his opinion is fact. Number 3, if you do bum sex with your girlfriend, that makes you gay. Guys, have you ever stuck your member in your girlfriend's poo-poo space? You may as well just stick it in a guy's poo-poo space, to be honest. I know it is controversial, but there is no difference in women's anus and that of a man. I mean, I would say that's debatable, considering that, like, females aren't born with a prostate that's up there, that, you know, feels good and is there, you know, and provides pleasure, whatever. We know he's an idiot. Having sex with a man would not be a problem for you. In fact, you want a man's anus more because it is tighter than a woman's vagina. Deny it! I'm gonna go ahead and deny that one. He ends it saying, and no, I am not an incel. I have full sexual experience with many women. I love how sexual experience is singular and many women implies plural, more than one. Okay, so which is it? Somebody said, probably because getting kicked in your genitals pretty much hurts for everyone. I assume this is a conversation about who has more pain when they're kicked. Probably about childbirth as well, who knows. Not the same though, not remotely the same. And the person who wrote the original comment says, you have both, which was, it was downvoted 5 times, so we see what kind of space we're in on the internet. I don't have to have both. All I need to do is understand basic human physiology. Balls have a massive density of pain receptors and are there, unprotected. The highly sensitive genitals part on a female are internal. This man has never given a woman an orgasm in his entire life. You aren't going to get kicked there. Does it still hurt for women? I'm sure it does, but not like getting kicked in the balls. And somebody said, I'm not arguing whether or not it hurts more for men or women, but I'm sorry for all of your sexual partners ever that you don't know that the clitoris exists. And the guy responds, if the clitoris is hanging around outside your body, you need to go see a doctor. That is interesting. For those of you who don't know, and to be honest, I would be quite disappointed if you didn't know, the clitoris is, in fact, outside, open in the air. As well as inside, there's, you know, it's quite big, there's a lot of it is internal. The outside is definitely there, and it's also, like, way more sensitive than a like, the amount of nerve endings in this tiny little button, this teeny-easy little button, it is an insane amount more than what is in a penis. So yeah, I would say that it hurts. This next one is very interesting. Somebody says, when the egg has hatched, it's no longer an egg. It now has rights too. So you call preventing murder dictating to a woman? By the way, the egg is half the man's. That's not quite how it works. Human eggs don't hatch. I can't help but think this guy's just picturing a chicken egg. Also, it has rights, and it belongs to half the man. I would say that the egg still belongs to the woman. I would say the sperm belongs to the woman too, because if it's inside her body, it's not his. That's a waste product. He doesn't want that anymore. So this is a tweet from Emotional Support Himbo. I assume this is a joke. May 6th to 12th is Clitoris Awareness Week. Be aware. I don't want to make you guys aware of that. But did you know that this is where it was? If you didn't know, that is pointing to the urethra. That's the hole. So if you're ever, you know, having sex with somebody with this anatomy, don't stick your finger and rub that part, because you'll give them a UTI. So this is a really uncomfortable conversation to be had. It's a conversation about African men supposedly having bigger penises. It says, probably the African females had bigger pussy and they needed bigger So apparently the reason that people have bigger is because the people around them have a big vagina. No, also weirdly racist. I mean, we can't be taking this entirely seriously. This guy has a SpongeBob profile picture. Somebody said, plot twist, the pee doesn't come out of a vagina. And of course a man responded, well, it most certainly does. It doesn't come out of the uterus or anything, but it 100% comes out of the vagina. Unless you think their urethra comes out of their f***ing kneecaps or something. And this guy's clearly annoyed because he had edited his comment and said, edit, I'm done responding to people who are being pedantic pieces of shit. Vagina is the colloquial term for female genitals as a whole. And if you disagree, then go touch a woman on the vulva. And when she accuses you of touching her vagina, you explain to her how she's f***ing wrong. So did you know that not only do men think that virgin vaginas and non-virgin vaginas are different, they think virgin penises and non-virgin penises are different. On a thread titled Losing Virginity, Men versus Women, somebody says, your boyfriend is a closet homosexual. All I know is that most virgin vaginas are not strong enough to accommodate a penis. That's the main reason why losing virginity is painful for most women. Virgin penises are strong! Virgin men can handle any vaginas, tight or loose, in brackets, without feeling any physical pain on their penis. If a man felt pain on his penis during the first time sex with a woman, then he's probably gay. Maybe he's not man enough to handle a vagina. So, first thing, you don't have to be a man to handle a vagina. I feel like lesbians exist, or trans people. We don't need to have that conversation. But, simply put, if you have a penis and you have sex with a vagina and your penis hurts, for whatever reason, maybe your foreskin gets caught, I don't know, maybe there's something going on up there, she's got hot sauce on her fingers, she's touched, you know, you're just gay. You're just gay, and I enjoy this because that's more gays for us. That's fine, go ahead. So, here's another one about homosexuality, funnily enough. Homosexuality is not loving. It's one person causing another person significant bodily pain and torture. Winky face? You into some BDSM? A male penis was never meant to be inserted into the anus, and it leads to tons of health issues if or when it is. Don't be gay. Don't be gay. Somebody says, are you sure you weren't conceived via anal sex, being so full of shit and all? That's incredible. That's really good. Also, it's very confusing that the male penis was never meant to be inserted into the anus, because why? Why is the prostate there? I'm not saying it's just there to have gay sex or to be pegged, but why is it there? Also, like, lesbians are real, so is being a gay man not okay, but being a lesbian is okay because they're not doing it in the butt, even though I'm sure like a good few lesbians do that. Here's another one about being homosexual. So, here's another fact. If you like fit girls, you're probably a homosexual. I guess that applies to men and women. Here's why. Muscles are manly. When men get muscles, their shoulders broaden, their chests and lats thicken, increasing their waist to chest and waist to shoulder ratios, creating an attractive V-taper. Is this written by a gay guy? When women get muscles, the same thing happens. Yet a V-taper is not attractive on women, as it is masculine. That is not true at all. Also, having muscles isn't masculine. Like, being fit is not a masculine trait. It just means that you're fit. Broad shoulders will make a woman look dominant and masculine, as opposed to petite and feminine. Okay, there's more than one way to be a woman, but also, like, dominant women are kind of hot. Broader shoulders, thicker chest / lat muscle, and built abs on women will also create a more manly, rectangular waist, de-emphasizing women's naturally wide hips and thin waist. You know that not all women have naturally wide hips and thin waists. Furthermore, increased muscularity on women decreases their proportion of breast and ass fat, de-emphasizing their femininity. Yes, because your femininity is determined by how much ass fat you have. If that was the case, I am a she-boy, I am a lady male, I am a, what's the word? Femboy! Not a she-boy! So, somebody is guessing the purpose of a hymen. So, my guess of the purpose of a hymen is, when a baby girl is born, she has really soft poop. I could just end it there. It would make just as much sense. If there was no hymen, the poop might go into the uterus. The uterus. Not just the vagina, the uterus. The organ, the internal one. All the way up there. This will result in infections. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. This gives less chance of getting an infection. And maybe it even gives some kind of sign a girl is becoming fertile when she loses the hymen. I don't know, just a thought. Yeah, it just drops out of you. You know how, like, balls drop during puberty? The hymen just completely leaves the body. Ever wake up one day and there's a hymen in your panties? You know why. Little hack here, by the way. If you want to know how big somebody's, hoo-ha is, just listen to them pee, because the trick with the pee volume also applies to women. The louder she pees, the bigger, wider, more sloppy her vagina. A good vagine creates a very decent and subtle sound. That's not where pee comes from. And here's the last one. You won't be surprised at his opinion on vaccines. Anyway, my wife got the vaccine. Ever since she got it, I have no sexual desire towards her. Is your desire completely gone too? I feel the death of her... I feel the death of her spirit. The spark is gone. I feel we're on different planes of existence now. I have no desire left. Is this normal? No. That's not normal. You think somebody getting a vaccine makes them less attractive? There's no correlation. She had an implanted birth control in the past that I would feel on my when we I knocked it out of the way and we had our third child. However, this time it's different. With the vaccine, I feel as though it's immoral to breed her. Your wife is not a dog! Break up. Jesus. Let her leave you. Well, that was it. That was very interesting. I enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, let me know down below. I can make more videos like this. I'm also trying to figure out what other videos I should film. So if you have any other suggestions, let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the video. Have a good day, or don't. See you later, losers. Goodbye.